Hello, everyone. This is Toby. I'm back here again to continue to talk about my latest book, which is Courtship in the Right Way. I'm going to be talking about one of the chapters that I like so much in the book, and that chapter 7 is talking about planning the future together. Um, this was a very challenging part of the book because I had to do a lot of research. I spoke with some people based on their experience, and I have to take some information from the scripture that I use to uh, complete the chapter 7, which is planning the future together. This part is quite interesting because there's some things that it is only you that can discover when you're married. And that is why it's good to go through a relationship period, which is the courtship period. Courtship in the Right Way is the title of the book once again. No matter how intelligent you are, no matter what the kind of counseling, vigorous advice you get from your parent during courtship, to be honest with you, there are some things that it is only you that can discover when you get married. You see, I will look at marriage as a secret court, honestly. I'm telling you. You have to experience some things. Some things have to happen to you naturally in marriage, either good or bad. Some things will happen that no matter how you perfect your courtship, or no matter the advice some people that has married has given you, it is gonna be different from your own personal experience. Why? Simple. Because these are two different people. Yes, some people are married, and then during your courtship, they're giving you advice on what to do. The advice is good, don't get me wrong, but it cannot be 100% accurate to make you discover everything about marriage before you get married. Unfortunately, you have to go into the marriage after courtship in the right way to discover some things by yourself. So, like I said earlier, it's a secret court. So when you do your courtship and then you're married, there's some things that will happen that are peculiar to your marriage alone. That is why I call it a secret court. You start to discover some sweet things, and then you start to discover some challenges as well. But in order for you to be able to manage these challenges when you're married, this topic, planning the future together, can actually help you to manage in the right way. So, like I said earlier, I'm actually going to be reading out some points, some bullet points from planning the future together. Planning the future together can strengthen your relationship and build a shared vision. So that is why planning the relationship together, or your future together during courtship, is very important. It is a journey of open communication, collaboration, and mutual respect. The bullet point I put under planning the future together, the things I talked about, is going to capture one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, at least 7 different topics under planning the future together. These 7 things, you need to understand them. You need to plan them for you to have a solid foundation in your marriage. And the reason why this is so important is because some of them are so minute, they're so minor, that you might not really want to plan them before you get married, because a lot of them might not make any meanings to you during courtship. It is when you then get married that these minor things will start to surface like a big thing. So this presentation from me is going to be two. This is the part one. I'm gonna divide it into, I can talk about 3 or 4 now, and then in the next video I'm going to talk about the rest of it, because I don't want to take much of your time. 15 minutes, 16 minutes is okay, then we'll come back the next time. But there's 7 things under planning the future together that during your courtship you need to examine them very well. I'm going to list all of them, but then I'm going to talk about some of them. The first one is discussing long-term goals and value. During your courtship, you need to sit down once in a while and discuss your long-term goals. What are your goals when you get married? And what are the values? Then the second one is aligning on financial expectation. That is a global issue. You need to align your financial expectation. The kind of money you need to be earning, the kind of money your husband needs to be earning. If you cannot get that, how do you create that kind of a money that can make your marriage work? Because I'm sorry, finance is very important in marriage. In every area of life, you need financial stability. Your financial expectation, you need to talk about it during your courtship. Don't hide away from it. So aligning on financial expectation, that's the second one. The third one is exploring family planning and parenting. All these, you might just say, okay, you want to have a child or 2 or 3. Fine. You want to have a child or 2 or 3. But what are the family planning and parenting style you want to apply? That's the third one. The fourth one is considering lifestyle and location preferences. Your lifestyle and the location where you want to live is important. This is going to tell on the kind of job you want to be doing. Yeah, the world is global now. There is remote, there is hybrid, but still you need to talk about your lifestyle and location preferences. Another one that a subtopic under planning the future together is addressing potential challenges and compromises. When you get married, we have an idea of what could be the potential challenges and what can we compromise. Financial is one of it, family is one of it, having children is one of it. So you need to start to address the potential challenges during your courtship. Then another one, developing a shared vision for the future. You've got a future ahead of you. What are your shared visions for the future? What are the things you need to work together to make things perfect? And what are the things you need to work together separately? And then the last one is, you've talked about these, discussing long-term goals, aligning on financial expectation, exploring family planning and parenting, considering lifestyles and location, addressing potential challenges and compromises, developing a shared vision for the future. And what next? After you've achieved those points, what's next is another topic. What next? So all these, we're going to talk about at least 3 of them in this volume, in this first part of the video, and we'll talk about the other part of it in the rest of the video. So let's go to discussing the long-term goals and value. So during your courtship, you need to talk about your long-term goals and your value. How do you do this? You sit down with your partner during courtship and talk about your hopes. What are your hopes? What are your dreams? Your aspiration for the future in another 10, 15 years time, when you get married, where do you want to be? Align on your core values and priorities. Align. You have to align. There needs to be a balance. There needs to be a middle point where you align and talk about your priorities. Create a foundation for shared goals. There should be a foundation for shared goals. You're 2 different individuals during courtship, and then you want to become one. So you should be able to kind of lay out your shared goals. And then individual, you need to work on your personal growth as well. How do you envision personal and professional development? And are there shared aspirations you want to achieve together? It's 2 things now. You're working together for a shared goal and you're working individually for personal growth, your personal growth will actually help to develop your shared goal. Each and individual of you have to have a set of skills so that when you combine them together, nothing is going to stop you. So all these your long-term goals and value, you need to constantly talk about it. And then you need to do a personal goal. How do I develop myself to help myself? How do I develop myself to help this marriage? You don't want to be in a place in 5 years and in another 10 years you're still in that same place. Then there's no growth, no progress. So you need to talk about your long-term goals and value. It is very important in courtship so that your foundation for your marriage will not be a challenge. By the time you have this at the back of your mind, you've talked about it on so many occasions, and you're married, the challenges will be less because you have your long-term goals and values together and separately. Maybe you started as a junior doctor. In another 10 years, you want to be controlling things. Probably you want to set up your own private consultancy firm, or maybe you're a lecturer in a university. You just want to develop your personal growth. And when you bring your individual skills together, you're a champion. So you need to talk about your long-term goals and value during courtship. The second one is financial security. Yeah, a lot of people have dreams. I want to be a millionaire. I want to live in a mansion. I want to have a home, not a house. All these are good, but it needs planning. And that is why the chapter 7 topic says planning the future together. So financial security. What are your financial goals? Do you prioritize savings? This you need to discover during courtship. Investing or early retirement. So your financial security, you need to plan it together during your courtship. And then your lifestyle as well will affect your finances. What type of lifestyle do you envision? What are your preferences for travel, hobbies, and entertainment? All these will come under your financial security. You need to come together and say, okay, at the end of the month, we need to be saving a particular money for our past. What is your past? The bills that you've used before the end of the month, that is your past. What is your present? Things that you needed that will sustain you for the future. And then what is your future? Your retirement. Those are the three ways that you need to think about that will help with your savings. So you need to sit down and talk about your financial security. Finances in marriage is a lot. It causes 95% of marriages, from my own opinion and what I've searched, financial contribute to it. You need to be financially stable. Your financial security is important. And then your lifestyle will affect your financial security. Are you the type that love cooking, or every day you go out there to eat? And then the more you eat outside, the more money you spend. So your financial security during courtship, you need to talk about it. All this, you might be, okay, I'm going to get a good job. I'm going to start to have a good money. I'm going to earn good money. But you need to plan it. Yeah, these are aspirations, but you need to sit down and talk about your financial security. So planning the future of your marriage together is the topic. So family. Discuss your thought on family size. You need to discuss your thought on family size during courtship. Parenting style and the value you want to instill in future children, because it's still courtship. So you need to discuss the kind of a family size you want to have. 2, 3, 4 children. And then the parenting style. Are you the one that will put your children in a boarding house? What kind of training will they get? Or your children will live with you. As they're growing, you see them growing. So that is part of the parenting style. Will you ensure that you take them to a church, or they have an environment where they know the right from the wrong? Those are different areas of parenting. Will you be going around to your dear grandparent? And then you need to talk about the value that you want to instill in the future of your children. It's not in this global world when babies are giving birth to babies. So the parenting style is zero. So all this during courtship, you need to start to talk about it. So for this section, we've been able to cover the long-term goals and value, the personal growth, combined with the share value. The financial security is very, very important. You need to talk about it. What are your financial goals? What do you prioritize savings, investing, or early retirement? Early retirement, you need to probably double your hustle. These are the things you need to talk about during courtship. And then the family as well. We also need to talk about the kind of family size you want to have. So all these things might look so minute, but they kind of affect a lot during marriage. So all these, you need to talk about them during courtship. And not only talk about them, you write them down. So you're planning your future together, which is very important. The remaining three, in my second episode, I'm going to cover it, which is considering lifestyle and location preference, addressing potential challenges and compromises, developing a shared vision for the future. And after all this, what is next? So in my second part of planning the future together, I'm going to talk about this. And just subscribe to my channel. This keep me going. And then watch out for the second part of planning the future together during courtship. Thank you, everybody. We're going to catch up soon. Bye. God bless.